Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we have one of our favorite guests that come on. She is the CEO of St. Madeleine Sophie Center. Been in that role for 25 years, but has been involved with St. Madeleine since 1995, and that's Debra Emerson. Always good to see your smiling face.
Well, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. I think I've been on many times in this 17 years.
I think you get a gold watch. When
a star at least.
At
right?
least. No, you were one of the first ones. We started this in 2007, and you've been to all these different studios. We've done it, and now, of course, here at Mission Fed Studio, joined by my guest co-host Kamara White. She graduated from Mount Carmel High School and will be going to St. Martin's College in Washington State on a volleyball scholarship and be a communications manager. She's been our curiosity shipper. We don't do internships at Cloudcast Media, and you've been doing a great job as a co-host. And you're enjoying it, I think, right?
Oh, yeah. I love it. I always say this, but I'm learning so much just sitting here.
I am, too. I'm telling you what, I've been doing this for 17 years. You're always learning with these folks. I know you have a question for Debra.
Yeah, so what is the mission of St. Madeleine Sophie Center?
The mission is to serve people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and to get them into the community. And that's our main goal.
You know what's interesting about this, I've talked about it quite a bit. You hope one of these years that decades, centuries, people are going to get it, that they understand that the population you serve are very viable. They do contribute. They are great for everybody in that aspect of it. You've been doing this for quite a while. Do you see that as actually people are getting it now, how important these folks are as they contribute to society?
I think it's been a long journey for this group of people, and I still think there's hurdles or barriers out there that people have concepts about a person with an intellectual and a developmental disability. I think there's hope, there's always hope, and that people will give them the opportunities that they deserve. They're people, and they love to work, they love to contribute. They're just a happy group of people. You come to my campus, as you know.
Very much so.
And they're welcoming. They want to find out about you, and they want to tell you about them. And they have hopes and dreams, just like us. So I think it's encouraging. And I think the future is very encouraging for this group because things have changed so much since COVID.
Right.
And I think that opened up some doors for this group of people.
Right. And, I think part of it is just education. You just can't talk enough about certainly the mission of St. Madeleine's, but also letting people know. And you got to say it once, you got to say it twice, you got to say it 2,000 times. That's just the nature of learning and all that business and so forth. And, we've had some of your residents or folks, I should say, not residents, people that go through the program have been certainly on our program talking about all the great artwork they do. I think they did an art book, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And you've, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there someone that's been there since St. Madeleine's opened up?
We have about 10 students
That's
that
wild.
As children came in the 60s, and our artist right now that's doing the artwork for the fashion show. He was there, I think, as a 10 or 11-year-old, and then went to the public schools when they opened up to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. That wasn't until the 70s. Before that, they had no place to go. And St. Madeleine's opened in the early 60s to help parents when they needed to go shopping or the doctors or just other things that they had a nursery school. So originally we started as children. And we're also celebrating 45 years of this fashion show where the auxiliary helped raise milk money for the kids in the nursery school. So I think it's come a long way, and hopefully in the future, once again, like you're talking, and I think National was talking about education.
That's right.
it's a continuous thing, and this group needs education. It doesn't stop after high school, and so they need the opportunity. So I think St. Madeleine's, I always say it's like a liberal art college.
It is.
For this group of people based on the elements that we offer to them.
Right, exactly. Now, before we get into the annual event, we come back from break, we're going to continue the conversation, and I know Kamara has some other questions for you as well. And when we return after this commercial message.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We've been chatting with Debra Emerson, CEO of St. Madeleine's Sophie's Center, joined by my guest co-host, Kamara White. We attending St. Martin's College in Washington State, been talking about the mission of St. Madeleine's and so forth. But you got a big event, 45th event of this fashion show. Talk about that.
Well, it's the 45th annual fashion show. It's going to be down at the Hilton Bayfront from 10 to 2. Just a beautiful venue, and the fashion in paradise kind of fits with that venue. And so hoping over 500 people. We still have tickets, and love to see everybody down there. It supports all of our programs, which is so important. The funding, we still don't get the funding that we need, so the shortfall is big for our students and for us to continue the quality of programs that we have at St. Madeleine's.
Right, exactly. And, with this program, the sponsorship still available?
Yes, sponsorships. We might not be able to get you into the program, but
Right.
we'll do everything else that we can to honor you with that sponsorship.
Right, exactly. So talk about some of those innovative programs that will be funded by this big fashion show.
One especially is the art program. We have a standalone studio downtown El Cajon called Sophie's. It's in, I think, the 21st year. And so our students work there every day. It's an open gallery. You can come and see them work. They work on a lot of different mediums. This piece that we picked here was from Mark Remland. He has been going to St. Madeleine's since the 80s. And so he's autistic. Also, he wrote a book, and he does a lot of other art. And his dad was head of the Autism Society locally.
Oh, really?
And he also was part of the Rain Man, the character of the Rain Man. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know
that. So very talented artist, very interesting person. He can tell you what day you were born on. So he'll be at the fashion show. And then about 12 of our other students will be there. And so they all get an opportunity to walk the runway with their friends and family, or even our staff. Some of our staff walk with them.
Right. So they can just go to the website, St. Madeleine's website. They can go to the event website, check in about getting the tickets and so forth. But you're all set. You've already got the models set up to do the walking. And again, you've done this once before, correct? And you, one and done on your walk.
I'm one and done on this one. When I first started there, they roped me into walking down the runway. So
Right.
my first and last experience. So, but it's a great experience for people. I think that opportunity, not everybody gets that. So I appreciate that opportunity, and I try to give it to other people now.
Right, exactly. So, talk a little bit about, what experiences the folks that are at St. Madeleine's have when they get there? Are they doing artwork the whole time? Are they doing music? Are they doing other types of jobs? What does a typical day look like? Or maybe there is no typical day.
I don't think there is any typical day. Every day is a new day there. But basically, when a person comes in, we look to see what they want to do, what their hopes and dreams are, and maybe they want to be educated in a certain field. We have a beautiful organic garden. A lot of people like to work in the garden. And that learns a skill for them to find a job or even help their families or homes with the garden. We have a beautiful aquatics program where people swim, and also we have Special Olympics this Saturday at our pool, so we have a swim meet there.
Really?
Yes. So just a lot of different computer lab. We have a kitchen where people learn skills in the kitchen, help serve lunch, help take lunch to people. So a computer lab, and just going out in the community. A lot of people see our buses. We have about 50 buses that get people into the community and get them to their jobs.
Right. We are chatting again with Debra Emerson. She's the CEO of St. Madeleine's Sophie Center. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. It's the nation's longest running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year, broadcasting from the beautiful Mission Fed studio in Scripps Ranch in Mission Fed. Credit Union has been doing great things in San Diego for more than 60 years. Joined by my guest co-host, Kamara White. She is our curiosity shipper. We don't do internships. She'll be attending St. Martin's College in the fall. Actually, later this month. Is that right? You're going up there?
Yeah, in 4 days.
She got down to 4 days, right? And even hours and minutes, probably. She'll be a communications major, and we'll be getting a volleyball scholarship as well. Other questions you got for Debra?
Yeah, can you talk about your community outreach efforts, but specifically how you combine your culture of care and creativity with the amazing quality programs you provide?
I'm a big person in the community with all the different agencies that are connected to the people that we serve, and also the city and the chambers. I'm a member of every chamber. So I believe you get what you give, and I kind of go at it that way. So we always give back to the community, and we try to teach that to everybody there at St. Madeleine's. Our students donate their time and volunteer all the time at Christmas, and ring the bell for the Salvation Army, and also raise money for things at Christmas and Thanksgiving for people that are homeless. So we're always doing something. I think it's just a big circle of people keep giving, life keeps going on, and I really believe in that concept.
Yeah, exactly. Kamara, another question?
What is a significant challenge that you face today for those that you serve?
Funding is a huge one. We shortfall probably $4,000 a student a year. It's a couple $1 million. So funding is huge. So always fundraising, writing grants, doing these events. The events always don't make a lot of funding, but they also bring a lot of new people to us, new friends.
Right.
And it also helps educate people about people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I think that's really key, like we were talking about before, for the future, so that people understand this group of people has something to contribute to society.
Well, it is important for them to know. Talk about your collaboration. We might have mentioned this before you got on air here. You work well with Noah Holmes, Home of Guiding Hands. Go through the list of why it's so important for all you guys to work together in this space.
I think we're serving the same group of people.
You are?
Yeah, Noah Holmes and HGH, they both do the housing component.
That's right.
And then we do the day program piece. So it's so connected and so important in everybody's lives to be secure in both of those areas. So I think that's important to the families also.
Well, and what's interesting, because we've had both of them on the air recently, and talking about how important it is for those family members that have someone to go through the program, that to know that their daughter, their son, their brother, their sister, their aunt, their uncle, whatever, is taken care of, and taken care of in a good way. That's got to mean a ton to those folks.
I would think so. A lot of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, some people are still at home. Parents keep them home.
That's right.
And so due to cultural beliefs or just, they're afraid to have them out in the community. So I feel that we're kind of a door to the community for people to come to St. Madeleine's, because we get people out into the community in different ways, to the parks and, just to volunteer at a church or do something. I think sometimes people don't think this group can contribute, and even their own families. So you'd be surprised how people grow. I know I have a couple board members that one of their son came to us when they were children for our swim program. We used to do children's swim lessons, and had a lot of behaviors. Now that person can go out, work, do different things, because he's gone through a lot of the different programs we have there, and we've supported him through that process, and their family too. So success every way around. So especially with children with autism, there's a bigger challenge when they're in the community as children, until they learn to handle the outside world too, and people handle them. So and I don't even want to use the word handle. It's just to get people used to going into the community. I know sometimes in large crowds I get nervous, these days, but just those kind of things.
No, I think it gets back to, I know Kamara's got another question for you, but it gets back to people just understanding about this population, the great things they can do, the great things they are doing, and just making people aware of this, that you might see somebody that looks like they're acting up in public, they're being themselves, because that's who they are, and okay, then that's great. Instead of going, that's an odd person. That's not an odd person. It's a person. They just is where they are and all that business. And it's got to be heartbreaking for those family members to see those brothers and sisters or sons and daughters, all that, mistreated this way. You can't talk about this enough. Kamara, got another question for Debra?
I do. So just backtracking a little bit. Sure. You mentioned that, the people in your program, they're just like us. They have hopes and dreams and very talented. In my personal experience, I actually tutored some kids at my high school for a whole semester who did have intellectual disability. And I feel like that's a big misconception, that they can't contribute. And I learned firsthand, next to them, helping them with math homework and tutoring. They're very smart and they're just amazing people. So what would your advice be to people who want to help people like that and who are very talented and just educate themselves? What would your advice be to them?
You can always come, visit St. Madeleine's and see firsthand. You can volunteer. I think those are firsthand experience. If you're in the community and you happen to be around somebody saying hi. I mean, I do that now all the time, just saying hi to a person, and just like anybody. And I think that just reaching out is really important, and get a real understanding what an intellectual and developmental disability is. It's challenging, of course, but then their intellect could be at a higher level than mine in different areas, like you're saying, art or math or singing. I remember we used to have a lady that sung in 25 languages. I couldn't do that.
Oh my gosh.
So it just depends. They have different skill set than we do. That makes them unique. We're all unique, so it makes them more unique.
Spot on. We had somebody on recently that with his mom that didn't speak when he was younger, 2 or 3 years old, and now he got accepted to the Berklee School of Music. Are you kidding me? You can't get any higher than that. To your point on this aspect of it, and it's just having an understanding. God knows that we need a lot more empathy in this world. That's the understatement of the century in that aspect. I want to applaud you, Kamara, for doing that, and gives you a different perspective, right? In this aspect, I imagine some of your colleagues at Mount Carmel the same way when they started doing the same thing you did. Man, I didn't realize that this is how much you probably learned more from them than they did from you, correct?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, it was just an experience that I didn't think I'd be put in, which I'm so glad I did. And just being in high school, it's tough already. But being able to do that, like you said, it just gives a different perspective, and it made me really grateful.
No, that sounds terrific. Debra, any final words? Let's shout out the fashion show one more time.
It's Fashion Show, Fashion in Paradise, Hilton Bayfront, August 19th. If you want a ticket, give us a call at 619-442-5129.
That sounds good. And one thing you won't see is Drew walking down the aisle.
Well, I wouldn't say never.
Trust me, when you see me walk, you'll say never. That'll shut down that event. Debra Emerson, always a pleasure having you on. And we've talked about this before. Let's next time you're on, let's bring some of those folks back in, share some of their artwork or whatever, and wish you nothing but great success in the fashion show.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be here, and best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The honor is always ours. We've been chatting with Debra Emerson, CEO of St. Madeleine Sophie Center. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community. The show are now in our 17th year. We're the nation's longest-running community podcast, broadcast from this beautiful Mission-Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch in Mission-Fed. Been doing great things for San Diego for more than 60 years. Honored to have sitting right next to me my guest co-host Kamara White, who will be attending St. Martin's College in a few weeks on a volleyball scholarship, and she'll be majoring in communications. And as you heard, she is well adapted to be taking over any podcast they're doing at St. Martin's College. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission-Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.